Everything you have ever known will one day end. The sun, the stars, every galaxy in the night sky, even time itself will run out. But not tonight. So get comfortable, let your breathing slow, and we will drift together, gently, all the way to the end of the universe. For now, the universe is alive with light. We live in what scientists call the stelliferous era, the long age of stars, and we are near its midpoint. Above you tonight, hundreds of billions of stars are quietly burning across our galaxy alone. But nothing that burns can burn forever. Tonight, the sky feels permanent. The same constellations your grandparents knew still hang overhead. And yet every one of those stars is slowly spending its fuel, and the universe is very gradually, very gently growing older. So let us follow that aging all the way to its end. Don't try to stay awake for all of it. Let the words simply carry you. Each stage of this journey reaches further into the future than the last, until the numbers grow so vast they stop feeling real. Just breathe slow and easy and drift forward through time with me. We begin close to home with the sun. It has shone for about 4.5 billion years, and it is roughly halfway through its life. For now it is steady, warm, familiar. But in time it too will run low on fuel and slowly begin to change. In about 5 billion years, the core of the sun will grow hotter and its outer layers will start to swell. Slowly, over millions of years, it will bloat outward into a vast red giant, glowing ever larger and redder against the sky. As it expands, it will swallow little Mercury first, and then Venus. The Earth, if it survives at all, will be a scorched and lifeless rock, its oceans boiled away into space long before, its sky filled by an enormous, dim red sun. Then gently the dying sun will breathe its outer layers off into space, casting a glowing shell across the dark, a soft and beautiful ring called a planetary nebula. For a while, it will be one of the loveliest things in the whole galaxy. And at its center, what remains of the sun will collapse into a white dwarf, an ember no larger than the Earth, yet unimaginably dense. It will shine on faintly, cooling, for billions upon billions of years. The outer planets, mighty Jupiter, ringed Saturn, the distant ice giants, will drift on through the cold and the dark, circling a faint white ember where a star once blazed. The solar system's long, warm chapter will quietly be over. Long before the sun dies, though, the sky itself will change. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is drifting toward its great neighbor, Andromeda, falling closer at over 100 kilometers every second. In around 4 billion years, the two galaxies will meet. But it will not be a violent crash. Their stars are so far apart that almost none will ever collide. Instead, the galaxies will glide through one another, again and again, over hundreds of millions of years. Slowly, gravity will weave the two into a single, vast new galaxy. The night sky of that distant age would blaze with the soft light of countless newborn stars. No one knows if anyone will remain to look up and see it. Now let the years truly stretch out. Drift further past the death of the sun, past trillions of years, into a future so distant that all of human history shrinks to less than a single, quiet heartbeat. The brightest, hottest stars live fast and die young, burning through their fuel in only a few million years. But the smallest stars, the faint red dwarfs, are patient. They sip their fuel so slowly that they can shine for trillions of years. And there are more red dwarfs than any other kind of star. Long after the sun is gone, they will still be glowing, dim and red and steady, the last warm hearth scattered through a slowly darkening universe. But even they cannot last forever. One by one, across spans of time we can barely name, the stars use up the last of their fuel. Fewer and fewer are born, for the gas that once made them is slowly running out and never quite replaced. Until at last, perhaps 100 trillion years from now, the very last star flickers, dims, and goes out. And for the first time since the universe was young, there is no starlight left anywhere at all. The great age of stars is over. Try gently to feel the size of that number. 100 trillion years. The universe today is not yet 14 billion years old. We are still standing in the bright early morning of time, with all of that darkness still impossibly far ahead. What comes next is called the degenerate era. A universe no longer lit by living stars, but only by the faint, cooling embers they leave behind, drifting in a sky that grows darker with every passing age. The white dwarfs, those dense cores of dead stars, slowly cool, century after century, age after age. Their glow fades from brilliant white to yellow to a dull and sullen red, and at last to nothing at all. When the final warmth has left them, they become black dwarfs, cold, dark spheres of crystallized matter, drifting unseen through the dark. The universe will be scattered with the silent, frozen corpses of stars. Here and there, the wrecks of the most massive stars will remain, neutron stars and black holes, the densest objects that exist. And slowly, quietly, the galaxies themselves begin to come apart. Over spans of time too vast to picture, chance encounters fling stars out of their galaxies, one by one. The great spirals unravel, their remnants scattering alone into an ever-emptier dark. Nothing, it turns out, stays gathered together forever. There is no rush here. Let these ages wash over you slowly, like deep and quiet water. Each single step we take into the future is longer than all the time that has ever passed before it. Just breathe and drift on. And then, if our deepest theories are right, something quiet and strange begins to happen. The protons, the very building blocks of every atom, of every dead star, of everything that was ever solid, may slowly begin to decay. It is unimaginably slow. A single proton might endure for a number of years, with 34 zeros after it, before it quietly falls apart. But given enough time, and there is always more than enough time now, it will. And so matter itself begins to dissolve. The black dwarfs slowly evaporate. The frozen stars crumble away. Across the whole of the universe, the last solid things gently come undone, drifting off as the faintest haze of light. Almost nothing is left now except the black holes. They outlast everything. For a stretch of time so long that it dwarfs every age that came before, the universe belongs to them, vast and dark and utterly silent. They drift impossibly far apart, in an emptiness it is hard for the mind to hold. Some still carry the mass of billions of suns, all that remains of galaxies that once blazed with light. And yet even they are slowly dying. For black holes are not truly eternal. They give off the faintest possible glow, a whisper of energy first imagined by the physicist Stephen Hawking. Atom by atom across the long ages, they quietly evaporate away. The time this takes lies beyond all meaning. The largest black holes might endure for a number of years, written as a one followed by 100 zeros. Against that, the entire age of stars was less than the blink of an eye. But the universe now has all the time there could ever be. And so, one by one, across that endless dark, the black holes shrink and fade and finally flicker out. Until somewhere, in a silence deeper than any night you have ever known, the very last black hole gives off its final whisper of light and is gone. With it vanishes the last structure the universe will ever hold. And after that, there is nothing left to happen. No stars, no matter, no structure of any kind. Only emptiness stretching out in every direction, growing colder and colder and colder still. This is the dark era. A universe spread impossibly thin, almost perfectly empty, drifting down toward a single final temperature, just the faintest breath above absolute zero. A few stray particles. A dim, fading glow that never quite disappears, yet never again lights anything at all. No warmth, no motion, no change, only a vast, cold, silent dark. Physicists call this the heat death of the universe. It will not end in fire or in some great final explosion, but in stillness, a quiet so complete that even time itself begins to lose all meaning. Everything that ever happened, every star, every world, every life, every thought that was ever thought, will lie unthinkably far in the past, as the universe settles into a rest from which it will never wake. There are other endings the universe might choose. Some imagine the expansion could one day grow so strong that it tears everything apart, in what they call the Big Rip. Others wonder if it might slowly reverse and fall gently back together. We do not yet know for certain which fate is truly ours. But the long, slow, cold quiet, the gentle fading we have just drifted through, is what most of the evidence points toward today. And yet here is the thing worth holding on to as your eyes grow heavy. All of that lies almost unimaginably far away. The cold and the dark wait a number of years ahead that no human mind can ever truly hold. We are not living at the end of the universe. We are living near its very beginning in the brief, brilliant morning of starlight, when the sky is still full of fire and worlds and warmth. Out of every age the universe will ever pass through, the long darkness, the silent black holes, the endless cold, you happen to be alive now, in the one short, luminous chapter when the stars are still shining. And the very same stars that will one day fade are shining for you tonight. The atoms in your body, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, were all forged inside stars that died long ago. For a little while, that ancient stardust has gathered itself into you, into someone who can lie here and breathe and quietly wonder about the end of everything. That is a rare and gentle miracle. So there is nothing to fear in the ending. It is soft and it is far. And between now and then lies more time, more light, and more wonder than you or anyone could ever hope to spend. If you are still awake, thank you for drifting all the way to the end of time with me. There is no hurry to get there. For now, the stars are still shining, and you are here beneath them. Rest well. Subscribe to Aphelion to fall asleep among the stars again, and until next time, keep looking up.